So let's move on to module 4. Now, module 4 say why you don't need to be full to be whole. This is a paradox. Why you don't need to be full to be whole. So why do we always chase after more? Chase after what? Chase for more results, like children, kids, chase for better PSLE results, chase for better O-level results. And then for adults, those who are influencers, chase for more followers, more recognition for those working personnel, more recognition, more praises, etc., etc., etc. But have you noticed the moment you feel full for that moment, you also become afraid to lose it? Lao Tzu observed this long ago and wrote chapter 15, which I'm going to cover in module 4. All right, so in this module, we'll explore how not chasing satisfaction is the secret to lasting strength. It's time to unlearn the myth of more and tap into the real power of less. So less is again the softness part that Lao Tzu is advocating. Lao Tzu say, true masters of the Tao are Wei Miao Xuan Tong, meaning true masters of Tao are people that tends to be subtle, tends to be profound, tends to be deeply connected. Yet their wisdom is hard to grasp, but not because they are trying to confuse you. It's just that their thoughts are very refined, their hearts are very humble, their actions are very seamless. But here's a trap. Okay, some people after reading the Tao Te Ching or entering spiritual path start putting on a master face. Okay, what do you call that? What is master face? Grandmaster, that kind of expression and face. Okay, and then they start to speak in riddles, 好像很玄这样这就是气气就是这样OK， 这是天道，something like that. So they acted aloof. They look like they know a lot, but when you listen to them, right, after that, right, you feel empty. That's not Tao already. That's performance. That's 表演 already. Okay, so that's not deep. That's deliberate obscurity. So we often fall victims to this kind of guys, right? Because we crave for clarity, ma. So when we want to crave for clarity, we always look for people that seems to know more than us. And just beware that those who seem to know more than us, they may be putting on a performance. I mean, they are fake one. Okay, so basically this is why we fall victim to scammers. So let me ask you this. Why do we always want everything explained in a neat little box? This is a very, what do you call that? This is a question that I think, I don't know whether you know the answer or not. Why do we always want everything explained in a neat little box? Like for example, right now, you're listening to me, I'm teaching. Okay, and I'm sure all students' expectation minimally is that you want everything about Tao Te Ching, like for example, module 13, 14, 15, 16, to be explained very neatly, very comprehensively in a very neat little box. Now, Lao Tzu remind us this, that the Tao cannot be pinned down. I think I stressed that just now a bit earlier. Tao cannot be pinned down. So despite how much effort I put in to explain Tao using these workshops, I still couldn't fully explain Tao. And this is a reality I must put forth to you. I still couldn't fully explain Tao despite my best effort. Okay, so in this chapter 15, Lao Tzu says, because the Tao cannot be fully known, we can only try to describe it. So that is the best way that I could describe Tao. So Lao Tzu used this, what do you call that, few images to try to explain, to describe Tao. So like crossing a frozen river in winter, or like watching your surrounding cautiously. I will explain that. Just hear me now. Like a respectful guest, like melting ice, like raw uncarved wood, like a deep valley, like a murky water. Now, why such strange metaphor being used? Because the truth of the Tao isn't a concept, it's an experience. So he's not trying to confuse you, he's inviting you into a new way of perceiving things around you. And you find that the true masters of Tao tends to behave like this. So this chapter is best suited for those aspiring leaders and leaders who are having issues leading. Now, let me elaborate. Let me challenge a belief we all have been taught. What are those beliefs? If you hesitate, you are seen as weak. If you're unsure, means you have lost. Right? So Lao Tzu tells us something pretty radical. Look at the highlighted words. He say, like crossing a frozen river in winter, like being cautious around your neighbors. Sound hesitant, right? Doesn't it? And that's the point. Let me repeat. Caution, like crossing a river in winter. Alert, like being surrounded by dangers. Now, real wisdom isn't reckless. Okay, real wisdom isn't reckless. A wise person doesn't just charge ahead like they know everything. This is what a wise person would do, typically do. Okay, I repeat, a wise person doesn't charge ahead like they know everything. 莽撞 that means they won't be so 莽撞 like that. They go and everything also charge ahead. They will slow down. They will feel the ground. They sense the changes in their environment. Now, why? Because they understand how fragile and ever-changing life is. So, hesitation is not weakness. Contrary to what many guru out there say, and let me repeat, Lao Tzu says hesitation is not weakness. It is so-called refined awareness. So next time you feel unsure, don't rush to fix things. That's why earlier on it says that what? Cautious, like crossing a river in winter. Alert, like being surrounded by danger. So basically what it means is that, when you come to a point whereby you are not that sure of that new situation that you're facing, be cautious, like crossing a river in winter, and be alert, like being surrounded by danger. So it's fine to hesitate. So instead, like I say, when you are faced with a decision, don't 莽撞 like that. Go and charge ahead. Instead, ask, am I sensing something others might miss? Am I feeling where the ice is thin? Like really popping. Where is the ice that's thinner, that if I'm not careful, I step on it, the ice may give way and I drop in. So ask these sort of questions. True strength isn't boldness without thought, 莽撞. It's the humility to slow down and listen to the moment. So hesitation is perfectly fine. Next, you see, I highlighted the next two lines. Polite like a guest, open like melting ice. So let's break another belief that silently sabotage many people. Now, what are these two beliefs? Number one, to be powerful, I must be loud, I must be dominant, I must be aggressive. The second one, if I want to succeed, I have to always act like I own the room. That means you're the king. These are misconceptions. Okay, because chapter 15 of the Tao Te Ching says a person aligned with the Tao stands with the respectful presence of a guest and transform like ice melting under spring sunshine. Now let's go with some real world examples. Now, ever been in a meeting with someone who listens more than they speak? Quietly sit there, listens, speak a little. Okay, they don't dominate. Yet when they finally speak, everyone pays attention. That's respectful presence. Instead of Instead of someone or keep on talking until at one point everybody switch off. The moment he say anything, you switch off. That is not respectful presence. So Tao is like this. Tao has this respectful presence. That means a wise person, a wise leader should also have this respectful presence. That means when it's my time to stand up to talk, everybody suddenly goes silence and pay full attention. Respectful presence. That's like Tao, right? That's like universe, right? Okay. When suddenly, one lightning strike, everybody wake up already. Suddenly there's an earthquake, everybody wake up already. Suddenly there's a tsunami, everybody wake up already. And it's talk about green, going green, huh? Or what, any, whatever lah. Huh? Everybody wake up. So this is called respectful presence. So a wise leader should have this respectful presence. Huh? But respectful presence doesn't mean you demand for it. Huh? Tao Te Ching say this kind of leader that has respectful presence tends to act like a guest, not because they are timid, but because they honor the space and the people in it. I repeat, because they act like a guest, not because they are timid, but they honor the space and the people in it. Okay, so respectful presence and guest. Now, another example, huh? Another example. Now, do you know this guy on the slides here? I think his name is called Satya Nadella, and at Microsoft, CEO. Now he didn't come in knocking down doors. When he took up this post, he didn't took up and then start to knock down doors, go for changes. He gently transformed company culture. That's like spring warms, melting winter ice. That's in I Ching terms, it's called huan. Feng Shui huan. Okay, gentle strength that transform everything. So true mastery isn't showy. It's present with humility and influence with gentleness. So that's like, that's how we talk about the ice open, like melting ice. That means the effect of you doing things or making changes are like slowly melting ice. Right? So if you want to transform your relationship, show up like a guest with care and presence. So if you want to influence your environment, be like spring sunshine, be consistent, be warm, be unstoppable. So don't confuse softness with weakness. In the Tao, softness is the most powerful force. This was repeated many times over all my workshops. Because it doesn't force. Softness doesn't force, it transforms. Now let's destroy another common limiting belief. That is, to succeed in this world, I must always act smart, I must always act polished, I must always act sophisticated. The Tao says, the next two lines that I highlighted, simple like uncarved wood, vast like a deep valley. What it means, be as sincere and simple as uncarved wood. I mean, be authentic. Be authentic. Last time, way before I decided to teach, I had this worry and fear about my broken English, my Singlish. But after going through all this Tao Te Ching learning, and then with all the very nice mentor telling me, why are you so paiseh about your broken English and your Singlish? You are showing your authentic you. So what is there to be so paiseh about? Just be sincere enough. Be sincere and authentic, and that is where I am today now, in front of you. Even though my spoken English is still that bad, but at least I'm sincere and I show you my true me. So this is called simple like uncarved wood. Vast like a deep valley. I mean, be as deep, what do you call that? Be as deep and accepting as a valley. 包容心啦，包容心, okay? So sound I know this sound counterintuitive, right? Okay, I give you a real life example lah. The power of this uncarved wood, that means unpolished simplicity. 弱朴 in Chinese called 弱朴. Look at this picture here. Our founding father, LKY. Despite being Singapore's founding prime minister and a powerful leader, if you have checked on him, he lived in a remarkably simple and unpretentious life. He's an embodiment of 弱朴, that means like an unpolished wood. Look at his Oxley house. Very simple, modest home. So he was known for his modest home, simple taste, and straightforward demeanor. He didn't indulge in extravagance or luxury, and he focused on substance over style. Now, this simplicity is not a sign of weakness. So this softness is not a sign of weakness, but a source of strength, grounding him firmly in reality and helping him lead with clarity and integrity. Otherwise, if he had not been so, I'm sure he'll be going around receiving F1 ticket. Luckily, he didn't. Okay, by embracing unpolished simplicity, LKY show us that true leadership and wisdom don't need to be flashy, don't need to be complicated. Instead, they grow from being genuine, down to earth, and deeply connected to the essentials. Just like raw wood that is strong and full of potential before it is carved or polished. So this is a mindset shift. We often think success means luxury, extravagance, but true power can come from simplicity and authenticity. That's like LKY's humble yet impactful life. Clear? So this is how Tao behave, and this is how if you want to be an effective leader, this is the advice from Tao also. Or basically, for those that behave like, it's okay to be hesitant, things like that, and then it's okay to be unpolished, just be authentic you, it's fine. Now, 弱骨 means the depth of an open heart. This is another characteristics of Tao and also effective leader. So ever talk to someone who never hold grudges? Very rare. I can tell you, very, very rare. Someone who don't hold grudges. Someone who listens deeply and let things go without drama. So they don't get stuck on small offenses or take things personally. That's 弱骨. That means 骨 means valley. And the heart is like, the deep depth of the valley that you can be so receptive, be so compassionate. 度量很大. Okay, 度量很大. 可以撑船 like a vast valley lah. They can hold the storm, they can hold the rain, they can still remain grounded and open. That's called 弱骨. So Gandhi's heart was as deep and wide as a valley. He was known for his extraordinary humility, patience, and ability to embrace diverse people and opinions without judgment or pride. So Gandhi's openness allowed him to listen deeply, to forgive freely, and to hold space for others' struggles. Just like a vast valley that can hold rivers, that can hold forests, and life in abundance, Gandhi's open heart could hold the pain, the hope, and the dreams of millions. So his capacity to accept others without ego make his leadership very powerful and very transformational. So instead of closing off or reacting defensively, cultivating the depth, 你的度量, cultivating the depth of an open heart like a valley allows us to embrace complexity, differences, and challenges with calmness and wisdom, and hence creating room for true connection and for true growth. Now let's talk about the next one. Muddy like cloudy water. So have you ever tried to stir muddy water with your hands to make it clear faster? Have you tried? You have a glass, muddy water, and you try to stir so that you hope that the water can become clear. Now, sounds silly. I know it sounds silly. But this is exactly what many of us do when our life get messy. When we don't have answers or when our emotions are in chaos, this is what we do. We stir. And the more we stir, the more muddy it gets and the more panic we get. So we rush, we panic, we overthink, and we try to fix everything immediately. So Tao is telling us the more you stir, the more muddy it gets. Right? It's murky because it's all mixed together. So what Tao Te Ching is trying to advise is no matter how harsh the new situation is, the trouble is, no challenges is, let it settle. Once it's settled, it becomes clearer. So you don't need to force clarity to show up. What do I mean by force clarity to show up? Basically means you try to stir. The more you stir, the more muddy it gets. So you're trying to force clarity, but in the end, you get muddier. So you need to allow clarity to slowly come in. Let's say, don't force clarity. Use the softness. Softness is always the most powerful force according to Lao Tzu. And in this case, what is softness? Means wait lah. Okay, wait lah. Don't force your way through. Okay, look at Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. After retiring, instead of rushing into a new project, he disappeared from the public eyes. So the media speculated, the markets panicked, but Jack was letting the water settle. You know why he retired, right? Why he disappeared from public eyes, right? Okay, if you don't know why, go and Google. Okay, because he has been blacklisted. I believe he has been blacklisted. He has not been officially claimed that he has been blacklisted, but I believe he has been blacklisted. I may be wrong. Okay, so what he do? Instead of forcing his way to force clarity, he just disappear from public eye. He's a public figure, but yet he still do this. He disappear from public eyes. He know if he forcefully force the clarity, he'll get into more situation than he can face. So after so many years, I think 2-3 years, or even more than that, he re-emerged calm, clear, and focused with new global initiative in education and sustainability. I think now he's a teacher in some university, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So sometimes your power move isn't doing more. Remember I said that your power move isn't doing more. Is sometimes could be just pausing more. It's letting the inner mud settle so truth can rise from within. Stop reacting. Start settling. So stillness is not passivity. It's clarity in the way making. Now, even though it's urgent, I can tell you, even though it's urgent, if it's muddy already, like I say, even though it's urgent, the more you stir, the messier it gets. Can you imagine COVID-19? Every minister chip in their thing and say that, oh, they must do this or must do that. If it's not coordinated, then whatever they're doing, they're steering to make it muddier. Then citizen all lost already. So move on with chapter 15, pretty long chapter. You say, who can stay calm until muddy water becomes clear? It is a fact, right? I mean, this is a very tough question. Who can stay calm until muddy water becomes clear? Because like Eve is already asking, if it's urgent, how? Okay. Next one, who can remain still until movement brings new life? Who? We are trained to move fast. We are trained to react. We are trained to fix things. Right? So how many of you like to fix things the moment they go wrong? When things get messy, emotions runs high because of some misunderstanding. And if we let our emotion runs high, finish, it get messier. And your first instinct is to say something, or do something, or force a solution. The worst case is force a solution. So Lao Tzu is asking us a radical question. Who can stay still when things are muddy and to allow it to clear up slowly? Who can stay calm while everything is moving and allow new possibility to emerge? You don't always need to react. This is what Tao Te Ching says. You don't always need to react. You just need to create a space for clarity and growth to show up naturally. Always remember the glass of muddy water. The more you stir, the cloudier it gets. But if you leave it still, slowly, it settles. Then it becomes clear. Okay, I'll give you a parallel analogy. Okay, analogy. Let's say a husband comes home from a long day from work, and the wife is a homemaker. So he's so starving. And when he reach home, he find that his wife is still cooking. Then he feels like yelling, "Wow, why isn't dinner ready yet? I'm hungry now." Now, if he walks into the kitchen storming, complaining, what happens? Maybe the wife get a shock and drops the ladle and then spill the soup. And then there goes the dinner. Everyone's upset. Now, the husband is still hungry, but now in a fight with the wife. So let's consider another approach. Now, the husband comes home from a long day, right? And he's so starving. And then, but his wife is still cooking. What he can do is he can take a deep breath, sit down quietly, and maybe say, "Take your time. I'll just rest a bit." What happens? Now, the wife, knowing his back, right, would naturally and automatically quicken the pace, right? Wouldn't she? I'm sure she will. And then in that case, the dinner gets served faster. And ultimately, no drama and no soup on the floor. The dinner is still intact. And they get their tummy full. Right? So you see, when it's already muddy, don't stir. Take a step back, let it settle down. 自然而然, it become clearer. Chapter 15, it says the last few sentences already. Those who guard the Tao do not seek to be full. Not because they are not full, can they be renewed and complete. Okay, let me rephrase. Those who preserve the Tao do not seek fullness. Precisely because they are not full, they can remain hidden and continually be renewed. It's like, have you ever poured water into a cup that was already full? You know what happened? Overflow. So exactly now think about this. Your ego, your schedule, your opinions, your mind, are they also so full that nothing new can enter? So Lao Tzu teaches us, those who truly understand the Tao do not seek to be full. Man zhao sun. The I Ching says, man zhao sun. Right? You know why? Because the moment you're full of pride, of certainty, of your own success, you stop growing already. Now, example. Look at Bruce Lee. He said, empty your cup so that it may be filled. Okay, so even as a master, Bruce Lee, he kept learning, he kept questioning, he kept adapting. He didn't cling to one martial art or identity. That's why he could create something new, okay, called the Jitundu. So basically, what he's trying to say is stop trying to be full. Remember, a cup that's always full will overflow and then waste. But a cup that's open can receive again and again. That's why I always advocate everyone to listen with a growth mindset. In that way, you are being a cup that is open, that can receive again and again. So the ancient wisdom of the Qian Gua, Hexagram 1, teaches us a very powerful truth, 物极必反. When something reaches its extreme, it inevitably reverses. So in other words, pushing too hard or trying to be full or complete actually sets us up for collapse or loss. Right? So this chapter deepens this understanding. Those who preserve the way do not desire fullness. It is precisely by not being full that they can remain concealed and be renewed. This teaches us the true strength and sustainability comes from embracing, not trying to be at the limit. Instead of forcing ourselves to the edge, we hold space for openness, we hold space for humility, we hold space for renewal. Even let's say, even though when I hit 40, I still got the opportunity to pivot my career to be where I am today, or despite whatever changes that's taken place. But because I have made myself to be not full, so I'm willing to be, at 40 when I allowed myself to be a beginner in this new industry. So let go of the urge to be completely full in your life, in your work, or your goals. Embrace the power of not full, because that's where real growth, renewal, and sustainable success can truly happen for you. So real mastery isn't about how fast you go. It's about how well you're prepared before you move. Important concept. Is about how well you're prepared before you move. Now, so basically what we are trying to say is that, you should empty your cup. Let stillness prepare your strength. Let the root grow before the fruit show. So this is what Lao Tzu call 归根复命. Return to your root, your 原和 reason, that 原. Okay, restore your essence. Then and only then you create without chaos. And this is what we'll be covering in the next module. Module 5. So module 5 is about when you stop chasing, you start becoming. Now, unfortunately, many of us can't stop chasing. I also don't know why I can't stop chasing.